Out of all Roblox anime games that come out on this platform, there's one genre of them that receive next to no love at all. And that's actually going to be Dragon Ball Z games. DBZ games on this platform are very rare to release or even have development behind them, and the current DBZ games on the platform are a bad representation of what Dragon Ball Z is itself. Because these games lack a lot of the cool things and skills from the anime. They lack the combat, good PvP, and the open world that you would actually get from Dragon Ball. And specifically for this video, I want to cover how Dragon Ball Z games are really the failed genre of Roblox anime games. And I'm also going to be going over some of the games that show and represent this, and nearing the end, I actually do want to talk about games that I feel like will possibly become really good for Dragon Ball Z games and like a nice representation of. And to start, I feel that the issue these games mainly face is the format of them, mainly being where you're just mindlessly beating up an NPC and going from point A to point B, essentially becoming a bandit beater or even a simulator, because I feel like they're really low at that level. I played the 3 most successful DBZ games on the platform currently, and while playing them, I noticed that they're all kind of mind-numbing games that just try to get players to stay as long as they can, so there can be more money made for the developers from either premium payouts or buying all of the form unlocking game passes. Now, the form unlocking game passes, for every single game, it is a problem. I'm going to expand more on that later, but they all allow for you to purchase multipliers that just make things easier when you're grinding the game, because the end game forms are all requiring huge numbers as like a ridiculous power level requirement, even at the 5 million power level that you have to farm to just use a form to farm for the next form. Dragon Ball Rage, I played this game since I was a kid because I have Super Saiyan game passes for it that I've never bought before, and I used to have up to the Super Saiyan Blue form. Now this form at the time when I was playing it back then had a huge requirement, which was around like 600k or something, but they changed the requirements for the game or just redone most things to make people have to play the game all over again. Now, the only reason why I can guess that they've done this is because there isn't any content for the game. This game and almost all DBZ games on the platform currently that are like out for people to play all follow the same format of you beating up a group of either Freezer Race NPCs, regular Namekian raiders. In general, you're just beating up NPCs from like iconic DBZ villain groups, and then you're moving from literally different worlds to different parts of the map, fighting the same NPCs, just retextured, changed to something different. It is honestly a very bad formula. So for a game to just kind of increase the stat requirements for these forms is really the only way that it will keep players playing, because you're essentially making them grind for something that they already grinded for, because the game doesn't have any content. Now, I only have Super Saiyan now, which is honestly a crazy drop from Super Saiyan Blue all the way to Super Saiyan, and the quality of the game also hasn't improved at all over the years. This game has been out for the longest time, and it's probably the most popular Dragon Ball Z game besides like Dragon Ball Online Generations. But just having this game represent the genre by having around 5 to 6k players is not a good look in general, because this game is very low quality. And to tie this back in for the game passes, you can kind of see exactly why I'm talking about this right here. If you look at all of the game passes for this Dragon Ball Z game, this being like one of the most popular ones, averaging around 5 to 6k players, you can just take a look at this. Times 2 training EXP, 1000 Robux, Dragon Radar, 700 Robux, 2 times energy EXP, 2 times mastery EXP, limit breaker. In general, all of these things that just make progressing easier for you is locked behind so much Robux, which is huge amounts of purchases, so that when you actually go ahead and play the game yourself because you want to play a Dragon Ball Z game, you're just going to be mindlessly farming the same thing over and over again, trying to unlock these forms so that you can mindlessly farm over and over again. It's honestly a really flawed system that shows up inside all 3 of the games, and even inside of games that are not Dragon Ball Z. Now, this goes for all 3 of them: Dragon Blocks, Dragon Rage, and Dragon Soul. Now, Dragon Soul, this one has like more of a story aspect added towards it, so where it's like a much better open kind of Dragon Ball Z game. This is definitely the best one out of all of them, but you can see the footage for this game right now. This one's probably even worse. They don't even go out of their way to like make a larger island for you to farm different sets of NPCs. You literally just go up the steps and boom, you meet another group of NPCs. You go up the steps again, boom, Cybermen are now raiding the world. You go up again, Oh my god, Nappa is over there fighting your Dende again. Like, this one is by far the best out of all of them, but keep in mind all of them are like extremely unbearable. And expanding off of this, I really do feel like Dragon Ball Z games on this platform just need a huge change in general. There hasn't been a really good Dragon Ball Z game on this platform besides like Final Stand, which I've heard like a lot of hype about, and another game that I kind of want to talk about today, which is going to be Sage 4's Dragon Ball Z game. Now, I recently did see a video, and I promise that this isn't just like a transition into me reacting to his video, and that whole entire intro was just like a different segment. But I actually did recently watch this video. He was kind of just describing his Dragon Ball Z game called Dragon Journey. Now, I'm not just gonna sit here and hype it up, but I really do want to like show off what a Dragon Ball Z game can actually look like if you're able to get your concepts down right and just know what you want to create. So his game, now his stat page, or just some of the things that he was explaining, is that for this Dragon Ball Z game, he kind of wants builds to be as diverse as possible. So most Dragon Ball Z games, you literally just have like your 5 stat pages, whether it be strength, key control, agility, resistance, etc. You just have your common stat pages. This game, he said that he's kind of taking inspiration from basketball games, and just in case you don't know what the stat pages for basketball games kind of look like, you're essentially scoping out your max build at the start, and then you just have to progress it inside the way that you want, kind of making a whole lot of different builds. Probably have some type of example up because I doubt that most people know, but even still, he wants to do this for his game, and I feel like it's a really cool and interesting take, like spread the stat page out for this game. This alone kind of separates it from other Dragon Ball games because you don't typically see that for a Dragon Ball game. And another point that he talked about, which I really do like the idea of, is going to be where after a certain amount of level ups, I think he said 5, you're going to kind of get like a talent card. Now, he doesn't have like any examples of this because it's still like early progress and everything is subject to change. But essentially, he just wants it to be like Deep Oaken, where after a certain amount of levels up that you do inside the game, you're able to get a card of talents and essentially making builds just a lot more diverse. And I feel like this in general is just what Dragon Ball Z games need, kind of to break away from the chains that are holding them down, to let you mindlessly go beat up on bandits and just farm for your next form like a drone. I really do like the idea of this game, and I actually hope things turn out really well for him. And coming off of this, I'm sure that there are a lot more like Dragon Ball Z games that are in development I just personally don't know about, and hopefully they are trying to like change up the whole entire system or just procedure that we follow for Dragon Ball Z right now, because the current Dragon Ball Z games on this platform absolutely suck. And you would think that there would be something better because Dragon Ball Z is one of the most popular animes, but you can look at the page for yourself. Any game here is just a simulator or it's just absolutely bad. Look, I'm gonna close my eyes and just join a random Dragon Ball Z game. So besides that, if you know any Dragon Ball Z games that you actually are like excited for to come out on this platform, or if you just feel like Dragon Ball Z games will never work on this platform, feel free to comment it and let me know why, because I do read the comments. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you have a nice day.